before you move on from there, let's just hover around the marketing role. What was it about the marketing role that attracted you in the first place? What do you enjoy about it?
What I enjoyed about it was the fact that it to be kind of project-based. I like to start and finish things. I don't like things that drag. I lose concentration and I get bored easily. So that for me was the exciting part. The other exciting part was the creativity that came with that. I might not regard myself as the most creative person, but I see when a good idea gets brought in front of me, I can see it. And I can see the legs, I can see it growing, and that for me becomes the exciting part. So those are the main things. And the fact that I could bring my finance skill into the marketing space. You know, they usually say marketers are always just spending money. There's no clear definition of what the return on investment looks like. But I would be that person who would be very clear about how the return on investment would look like, because I was able to then bring my finance understanding into that space, which was quite fascinating.
That's fascinating because, as you know, we're leading the field is powered by the GC index. And when we reviewed your GC index, you came out, didn't you, as this strategist, the strategist playmaker. And strategists love to join the dots. And what you've just described there is that ability to join the dots of finance and marketing to create and shape a marketing strategy and marketing campaigns that make sense and are going to deliver us the results that we're looking for. So it's not just a case of just do things, just doing the next marketing campaign. Let's make sure that the campaign is the right campaign and the one that's going to give us the best return on investment. And that obviously that was really important to you.
Yeah. And I think just to add on to that, the other thing was I wasn't a typical brand person. I felt like brand could be very fluffy. So I was able to also focus on the product side within the marketing space. And that for me was very fulfilling because you could build a product and manage it, or a service, and be very clear about what that looks like and how it will impact your end consumer. And that for me was the fascinating part.
Love it. And whilst you said you like to, get things done and you don't like to hang about, if you like, one of your lower numbers was implementer. That actually physically doing it is not necessarily what you love to do. So how did you get around that in the teams that you worked?
So I'm big on collaborating, and I'm also big. So within the corporate space, I was always able to bring the right team around me because I knew that about myself, that I'm not big at implementing. I'm not big with the detail. So my team knew that if you have to speak to me about this is the bigger vision. And this, if we do this, this is how it gets us to that vision. That for me becomes the most important part. And the other element is I would say to the developers, this is what I need from you. I don't care how you get it done, but I just need it done. So I'm not the one to dictate how it has to be done, because I think if you surround yourself with people who are specialists in their field, I don't need to know the detail. But they need to make sure that it is, whatever it is, it needs to be easy to use. The customer journey needs to make sense and the quality needs to be good. You tick those boxes for me, then we can work quite nicely.
Yeah. So it's not about necessarily doing the planning, but it's making sure that the planning's done.
Yeah.
And then you can see some clarity on how they're going to achieve the outcomes. Yeah.
Exactly. And somebody has to keep me accountable with the planning. Because
we did talk about accountability, didn't we?
They have to keep me accountable with the planning, and and making sure that we are able to meet the deadline. That becomes important.
So if there's any implementers out there that would love to be an accountability buddy with Mpume, then do get in touch at the end of the program. Excellent.
I need loads of them to keep shouting at me, like, let's get down to it. I think the big thing for me, Simon, is if I can get somebody else to do it for me, it just makes it easier. But now that I'm an entrepreneur and some of the things are reliant on me per se, this is when it becomes, because actioning, I'm good at saying we need to action, right? But if there's a team, then there are people who pick it up and then it gets done. But now the action, when it's reliant solely on me, that's when it becomes a bit tricky.